Genghis Khan. His name has become a symbol of strength, resilience, and limitless ambition. Genghis Khan, the legendary leader of the Mongols, is one of the most influential figures in human history. From the vast steppes of Mongolia, he built the largest empire the world has ever seen. An empire that stretched from the East China Sea to Eastern Europe. How did an orphaned child from a small nomadic tribe come to change the face of the world? Let us explore his extraordinary journey. To truly understand Genghis Khan, we must first immerse ourselves in the world of the 12th century Mongolian steppes, a harsh, unforgiving land where survival depended on strength, cunning, and loyalty. The steppes were home to nomadic tribes who lived in constant competition for limited resources. These tribes were often divided by rivalries, blood feuds, and shifting alliances. It was in this crucible of conflict that Temujin, the boy who would become Genghis Khan, forged his destiny. The steppes were not just a physical landscape, but also a psychological battleground. Survival required more than just physical strength. It demanded intelligence, adaptability, and an unyielding will to endure. For Temujin, these qualities would become the foundation of his greatness. Genghis Khan was born in 1162, with the birth name Temujin, meaning blacksmith. According to legend, he was born clutching a blood clot in his hand, a sign, some believed, of his future greatness. He was born into the Borjigin clan, a relatively minor tribe in the Mongolian steppes. His father, Yesugei, was a respected chieftain, but his leadership was constantly challenged by rival clans. Temujin's early life was marked by both privilege and peril. Yesugei was a skilled warrior and diplomat, but his ambitions made him enemies. One day, while returning from a trip where he had arranged a marriage alliance for his son, Yesugei stopped to share a meal with members of the Tatar tribe, a group with whom he had long-standing enmity. Unbeknownst to him, the Tatars poisoned his food. Yesugei managed to return home, but he died shortly thereafter, leaving his family vulnerable. With Yesugei gone, the Borjigin clan quickly abandoned Temujin's family, fearing they would be unable to protect them. Temujin, his mother Hoelun, and his siblings were left to fend for themselves in the harsh steppes. This period of hardship shaped Temujin's character. He learned to hunt, forage, and survive in one of the most unforgiving environments on Earth. But survival was only part of the challenge. Temujin also faced betrayal within his own family. His half-brother Begter, who was older and stronger, attempted to assert dominance over the family. In a dramatic turn of events, Temujin killed Begter to protect his mother and siblings. This act of defiance demonstrated his willingness to do whatever it took to protect those he cared about, a trait that would define his leadership later in life. As Temujin grew older, he began to build alliances with other tribes. One of his earliest allies was Jamuka, a childhood friend who shared his vision of uniting the Mongol tribes. Together, they dreamed of creating a world where nomads could live in peace and prosperity. However, as Temujin's power grew, so did the rivalry between him and Jamuka. Their friendship would eventually turn into a bitter feud, setting the stage for one of the most dramatic conflicts in Mongol history. Temujin's rise to power was neither quick nor easy. He faced countless challenges, including betrayal, imprisonment, and near-death experiences. One of the most significant turning points in his life came when he was captured by the Taichi Ud tribe, a former ally of his father. They enslaved him, chaining him to prevent escape. Despite the odds, Temujin managed to escape. He hid in the wilderness, surviving on his wits and resourcefulness. This experience taught him the importance of resilience and adaptability, qualities that would serve him well in the years to come. Over time, Temujin built a loyal following. He attracted warriors from various tribes by promising them protection, plunder, and a chance to rise above their station. Unlike traditional tribal leaders who relied on hereditary privilege, Temujin promoted individuals based on merit. This revolutionary approach earned him the loyalty of some of the most talented warriors in the steppes. Temujin's military genius became evident in his early campaigns. At the Battle of Dalan Balzut, he suffered a devastating defeat at the hands of Jamukha. But rather than succumbing to despair, Temujin learned from his mistakes. He studied his enemy's tactics, improved his own strategies, and rebuilt his forces. By the time of the Battle of Kuiten in 1204, Temujin had emerged as a formidable leader, decisively defeating Jamukha and solidifying his control over the Mongol tribes. In 1206, after years of warfare and diplomacy, Temujin achieved his ultimate goal. He called a great assembly of Mongol leaders, known as a Kurultai, where he was proclaimed Genghis Khan, meaning Great Emperor. This was a historic moment, the first time the fragmented Mongol tribes were united under a single ruler. Genghis Khan's vision extended far beyond the steppes. He dreamed of conquering the world and building an empire that would last for eternity. Genghis Khan's conquests were unlike anything the world had ever seen. His armies, composed of highly disciplined horsemen, employed innovative tactics that revolutionized warfare. One of their most effective strategies was the use of feigned retreats, pretending to flee in order to lure enemies into ambushes. They also utilized psychological warfare, spreading fear through rumors of their brutality. One of Genghis Khan's earliest targets was the Jin dynasty in northern China. The Jin were one of the most powerful empires of the time, but they underestimated the Mongols. In 1211, Genghis Khan launched a massive invasion, culminating in the capture of Zhongdu, modern-day Beijing, in 1215. The fall of Zhongdu marked the beginning of the Mongol domination of northern China. Genghis Khan's campaigns extended far beyond China. In 1219, he turned his attention to the Khwarezmian Empire, which controlled much of Central Asia. When the Khwarezmian ruler, Shah Muhammad II, executed Mongol envoys, Genghis Khan responded with overwhelming force. The Mongols devastated cities like Bukhara, Samarkand, and finally Baghdad, leaving a trail of destruction that shocked the Islamic world. Despite their reputation for brutality, the Mongols were also patrons of trade and culture. Under Genghis Khan's rule, the Silk Road flourished once again, connecting East and West like never before. Merchants, scholars, and artisans traveled freely across the empire, exchanging goods, ideas, and technologies. This cultural exchange laid the groundwork for the Renaissance in Europe and the spread of innovations like gunpowder, paper money, and the compass. Genghis Khan's legacy extends far beyond his conquests. He introduced a legal code known as the Yasa, which governed everything from military discipline to trade regulations. The Yasa ensured stability and security across the empire, making it easier for people to live and work in peace. One of the most fascinating aspects of Genghis Khan's legacy is his genetic impact. Modern DNA studies suggest that approximately 16 million men alive today are direct descendants of Genghis Khan. This remarkable statistic reflects the sheer scale of his influence and the number of women who bore his children during his lifetime. Genghis Khan died in 1227, but the exact cause of his death remains a mystery. Some accounts suggest he fell from a horse, while others claim he succumbed to illness or injuries sustained in battle. What is certain is that his death marked the end of an era, but also the beginning of a new chapter in Mongol history. Perhaps the greatest mystery surrounding Genghis Khan is the location of his tomb. Legend has it that he was buried in a secret location in the Mongolian steppes, and all those involved in his burial were killed to ensure its secrecy. To this day, his tomb has never been found, fueling endless speculation and archaeological expeditions. Genghis Khan was more than just a conqueror. He was a visionary leader who transformed the world in ways that are still felt today. His empire connected East and West, fostering cultural exchange and technological innovation. Though his methods were often brutal, his achievements were unparalleled. As we reflect on his life and legacy, we are reminded of the enduring power of ambition, determination, and the human spirit. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating history content. See you in the next video.